Hello, welcome to This Is Hers, the space where women share their experience of trusting their voice and becoming someone great, achieving success while being truly themselves. I'm Yev, and today we're hearing from someone who didn't follow the map. She drew her own. My guest is Caroline Chavier, the CEO of The Alliance, famous for its DI advocacy in France. Caroline is also a business angel and a mother. Hi, Caroline. Very
Hi
happy
there.
to meet you here, to see you, the first one on my show. It's a huge honor for me.
Thank you for having me. I feel honored. I'm the first, and I hope you will always be proud of this first episode.
I'm sure you were like the obvious first choice for me. I think you're amazing, and you know, I know you. I'm happy to know you. Okay, let's move to the questions. Let's start from where you are now. So for those meeting you for the first time, how would you introduce yourself?
I would introduce myself by saying that I am a tech recruiter. This has been my job for many years now. So I've been in the tech scene. I have been in the machine learning, so we could say artificial intelligence scene as well. I co-founded a meetup group. So it's called Paris Women in Machine Learning and Data Science. From now on, you will hear me say WMLDS because otherwise it's too long. And it's a community of more than 6,000 people. So women, non-binary and men. And we have technical conversations every month. So it's Paris-based, but it's a global community. So I have been doing that for 8 years. And I'm also the founder, the CEO of my own company, which is called The Alliance. So basically, I work on diversity and inclusion topics, and I am a tech hiring firm for tech companies. So we might talk a lot about it, so I'm not going to go into details. And very recently, I became a business angel, and my choice is to work on tech frugality, the decrease of energy consumption when it comes to machine learning.
So what's your primary focus these days?
At the moment, I'm working a lot on agentic AI. I'm working on how to improve my processes thanks to automation without losing the touch with my clients and candidates. So long story short, I want to use automation tools in order to spare more times with people. That's my goal. So that's my primary focus. And I'm happy because 10 years ago, when I started to work on machine learning, I would have never guessed that it would be such a booming thing at the moment. So I feel privileged. And I also feel that I have a responsibility to shape this community in the most inclusive, welcoming way. And I try to do that thanks to my company and also thanks to WMLDS that I mentioned.
This is very cool. Um, if you had described yourself right now in 3 words, what would you choose?
3 words. That's quite, okay. I would say first, I'm kind-hearted. So no matter how you know me, whether it's personal or professional, this is usually what people will notice. And if not, it means that I've done something wrong. Um, Something that also people tell me is that I'm very rigorous. So I can be caring, warm, but I'm also very strict in a way. I like discipline. And I think you can't run a company without being disciplined at least a little bit. And passionate because, we have been talking about work, but I love pop music. I love sport in general. So yeah, passionate, rigorous, and kind-hearted.
I absolutely see it. And, I was thinking of maybe doing some less formal introduction for you. And the first thing that I was thinking about that you're probably one of the kindest people that I know.
Yeah, kind, and I never forget people. I think this is one of my biggest assets. I listen a lot to what people like, to what they want to do. And my job is to connect people together. And yeah, as soon as I launched my company, I wanted people to feel supported, to feel that I was dedicated to them. And I think this is why my company is running well. I don't want it to be bigger. I don't want it to scale more because I want to keep focusing on people.
So let's rewind a bit. What was your first big ambition growing up?
You know what? I initially wanted to be an ophthalmologist. So I remembered coming back from school and drawing, an eye and writing all the technical words related to what is composing an eye. So yeah, that was my initial ambition. And then I quickly realized that I was that I was bad at mathematics. And when you want to study medicine, you need to be good at it. And ironically speaking, on a daily basis, I hire engineers who are brilliant at math while being extremely bad at it. So I think I cured myself. I didn't become an ophthalmologist, but I hired people being good at math.
So going to maybe a more sensitive subject, what was your first I don't belong here moment in your career or life?
I have a vivid memory of feeling like that when I was at the university. It never really happened at work, but when I joined the uni, I was 17, and I remembered counting my money to know if I could go back to see my family on the weekend. And I noticed that my fellow students, they were just traveling during the weekend to New York. And I felt like I did not belong. So it was a matter of social class, I would say. Witnessing, feeling in your flesh the difference with people who are in the same class as you. It was something that shaped my perception of the world and to be aware of what privileges are. And I know that I gained privileges through my studies, through my professional background, and I'm very cautious not to brag, but to take care of it and to make sure that as many people as possible become privileged.
Was there someone who modeled courage or self-definition for you, or maybe someone who didn't and it still shaped you?
So if you allow me, I'm going to say the obvious thing. I have been a Madonna fan since the age of 10, and she really inspired me on how disciplined you can be when doing your job, how diverse someone can be. So I always like popping this conversation because I know that Madonna is perceived as someone dancing in a leotard on stage and so on. But actually, she's an art collector. She reads lots of books. She's aware of, what her reputation, good or bad, can bring to her. And it's something that as a businesswoman, I always feel inspired from still today. And when I'm a little bit down, I will always listen to her music and feeling, upbeat and motivated, even if I lost it. And I also made sure to be a CEO that was the opposite of a toxic CEO, someone not caring, someone thinking that alone she can do anything. Because men sometimes feel like, they are God's gift. And this is not the case, actually. Without great ideas, without great teams, you can't do much. So this is also something that I try to always recall. You can't do it on your own.
Yeah, for sure. I also feel for Madonna reference. She's kind of controversial, but I also liked her since I was a child. And Yeah, however it is, it says a lot that she was during all these years into top charts. She was always there on the peak, and she had like she produces a good product and a very timely contemporary product whatever time she does her job.
Exactly. And you can do lots of parallels with the business because, she went for underdogs as music producers. She's always reinventing her at every album release she's going to do. And it's the same with the business. If you don't question what you're doing, if you don't try to push the boundaries a little bit further, you will get outdated. So this is why I'm always proud to say that Madonna has been instrumental in my personal life and an example that I follow.
What's a decision you made that changed a trajectory of your life?
It might sound cliche, but becoming a mother was something that made me evolved in an unexpected way. And I'm extremely proud of that because it's not something I've wanted to change, but it's life. It's having a little kid in my life. I feel so lucky. So I came from being a control freak to being more down to earth, chill, enjoying having issues, because having an issue means that you're going to find several solutions to one problem and that you will fix it. And it was also a great exploration for me to see how I can prioritize differently. My child will always be what is important, and second, business and other stuff. That's it. So that was a drastic change and something that I couldn't have foreseen.
But as I say, cliches are cliche for the reason. This is something that affects people a lot and changes people and for the good. And I understand I can't relate because I don't have a child of my own, but I think I would appreciate something that would help me, release some of the control, except that I don't have like as much control as I want to have, and chill a little bit.
It's funny because I don't know, like if women or people listening to the podcast later are not parents themselves, I don't want people to feel that they're missing something. It's just that as a lesbian woman, I grew up thinking I couldn't marry a woman. I grew up thinking that having a child would not be possible. And so when you talked about something unexpected, this is what came to my mind. And I think I almost grieved in the past, thinking that I will never be a mother. And now I'm happy to be, a recruiter, a CEO, a mother, a friend. I'm all of that. And without this experience of motherhood, I think I would have been different and I would have crashed. I was a client to burning out, I think, and it grounded me, to be honest. So I'm grateful.
Yeah, that's terrific. Was there a moment you almost walked away from your path?
Let's go back to my studies. I had to repeat the first year of my uni time. Basically, imagine I came from the countryside. I had always been a good student at school with the best grades. And suddenly all the classes were taught in English. Suddenly I was surrounded with people who were smarter than me, who traveled the world, and they came with a cultural baggage that was bigger than mine. And I fell. And it was also the moment that I had to come out. So there was a correlation between my personal life being a little bit up and down because we got harassed by the students by then with my girlfriend. And so I repeated my first year, and then I completely bloomed. I succeeded to go to Japan for my studies. I got the university I was targeted. So this could have been and had been a failure on my path, but this failure fed me to insist, to persist. And if you are good at everything, oh, that's something to question. At some point in your life, you will have to struggle. And I'm happy it happened when I was 18.
Is there anything that you had to unlearn to keep growing?
Yes. I had to learn how to say no, and I had to learn sometimes not to be as kind as I wanted, especially in the business negotiations. I saw, for instance, when I launched my business, clients taking advantages of the fact we were new or we were a small structure in order to negotiate and lower our prices. And so, yeah, I had to unlearn and to be fierce, you know? Um, I had to learn how valuable we were with my team and how we were 100% sure of why we stated that this commission what was relevant for them to pay if we were to deliver the service they expected. So yes, I had to unlearn that. And what can I think of? Something important, because I think many people are like that. Being good and doing your job well is not always enough. Sometimes you have to be a little bit edgy or dirty, and trying to look for perfection is not the only path. Sometimes just doing it is what is enough. I'm thinking, like accepting some roles to hire and thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to succeed, and postponing the fact of starting the project. And actually, when I sat down, when I started, I realized it was not that difficult. So go for it, try, adapt, adjust, whatever needs to be, but don't look for perfections, because then you can be stuck when you're thinking like that.
Yeah, I think this is something that a lot of women actually struggle with, and the sort of forced goodness when we do not allow ourselves to make another step to the side.
Yes.
And also, yeah, with perfectionism and being the best, making sure that we are doing like super good job at all times, and stalling the progress because like we can't reach the final 1% to get to perfection. So yeah, for sure.
And also, by listening to you, I thought about one thing is I had to unlearn. I had to learn how to be part of a team and try not to rely only and exclusively on myself. In the past, I had this tendency of wanting to do it on my own. And I realized quickly that I was more powerful, more efficient by working within a team.
What assumptions did people make about you, like as a woman, as a lesbian, or any other label that they put on you, and what did you do with it?
Oh, there are several questions in your question, but one thing I can think of is that when people meet me for the first time, it's heartbreaking, but they always think that I'm very cold and not accessible. And it breaks my heart because this is exactly the opposite that I want to project. So if you have any tip, I accept to take them. And as a lesbian, it's funny because I got some homophobic remarks when I was at work in the past. Not since I launched the Alliance. I must say that being your own boss, people don't mess with the boss. And I also decided to be out. I don't hide the fact of being a lesbian. I don't hide talking about my wife or my girlfriend. So it really lowered the level of discomfort that I could feel in the past. And so why do I do it? It's because who you are on your personal side is not something that you can, leave at the door when you enter your company or when you join a meeting. People chit chat, like, where have you been on holiday? Oh, what did you do this weekend? And I've heard myself lie. People thought that I was asexual in the past, or that I was just single, which was far from being the truth. So, I just hid. I didn't want to be exposed to questions or to perception. And one true story, I've never said it publicly, but when I launched WeMLDS with a female researcher, I almost didn't do it because I was thinking, oh my God, the lesbian woman who's doing something feminist, people are going to get scared or they're going to comment. And actually now, years later, I'm like, girl, if you want to do it, do it. And people are going to come because of the technicality of the talks, because the community is welcoming. They are not going to bother who you're spending your time with when you're at home. But, it's stuff that you learn because I was, 28, 29, and I had to deconstruct quite a lot of perceptions.
Did you also notice that when you became out and you stopped hiding, that you started attracting more of right kind of people?
100% sure. I actually got more candidates who stated they were non-binary, trans, LGBTQ plus, basically. And I think that in comparison to my fellow recruiters, I have the capacity to attract LGBTQ plus people because I'm out. So they feel safe, to be who they are. And they know that I will be cautious to respect them. And they know, without having me to state it, that I will select the companies I work with based on their inclusive identity. So yes, there is this. And what I didn't plan was that being out, being vocal about diversity and inclusion also brought the other minorities, disabled people, foreigners, people over 45 years old who are discriminated when you work in the tech ecosystem. And so this is something that makes me proud. The fact of daring to be myself brought a lot of positive consequences to people, to my business, and to, I hope, the ecosystem at large.
Have you ever had an imposter syndrome? You mentioned connected to the identity, but was there anything else where you were doubting yourself?
I can't say yes because I've never recognized myself into the imposter syndrome. The only thing I can stress is my social class and my cultural background. This is something that made me clash or made me feel excluded. Basically, when I go home, my family, they call me, the smart kid or the library brat. And when I'm here in Paris and I'm spending time with very bourgeois people, high class individuals, I don't have all the codes. The way I hold my fork, the way I speak, my vocabulary, for instance. So I don't feel like I belong in any places that I mentioned. So yeah, no imposter syndrome at work, but in my personal life, yeah.
Was there a defined moment when you felt that the only way to go around life and career was pure authenticity?
It came very early in my professional career because, you know, as I told you, I have been working in computer science since I started to work. Then I specialized myself in AI, and many times I was interacting with men over the phone or in video conferences, and I was like, it doesn't match. When I looked at the community we were talking about and I could see 30% women, I was like, where are they? Why are women not my candidates? And I really reacted and I thought, what can I do to improve things? So creating role models, being intentional about the way I contact candidates. And this was a turning point in my career. So it was 2018 and I used to work in a listed company. And by then, talking about diversity and inclusion was not big. And I decided to leave mostly because of that. And then I created the meetup group. I joined a new company where I was a manager and where I could decide about the HR policy and how we would hire people. So yeah, that was a turning point in my career. Because anyone can be a recruiter, but being one who changes the team's composition, this is not easy.
Have there been moments when you felt pressure to be smaller, quieter, and more convenient?
No. And even if so, I wouldn't have accepted it. And I can thank Madonna for that because, she always says, never take no for an answer. And I am the same. So if someone would have asked, Caroline, can you be more quiet? Obviously I would have answered back. And I think I would have done the reverse because I'm a rebel.
Yeah, I understand that, it's I have the same sort of drive. When something like weird comes in, I feel the need to to say something very, very fitting to the situation so that this incident does not repeat itself.
Yeah, and as soon as you accept once to remain silent, to be smaller, whatever, then it's extremely difficult to go backward. So that's why it's important to put boundaries with which you feel comfortable with. And I know that, in the past when I was in high school, basically I joined the uni that I spent 5 years at thanks to a positive discrimination program. And I remembered fighting against my teachers because they didn't want to enroll in such program. And I remembered being 15 and arguing. I was like, even if there's just one student that will be accepted to this school, it will be a signal to hundreds of them that it is possible to target something higher than what your education, your location exposed you to. So yeah, never accept to be smaller.
Yeah, thanks for that. How do you define success for yourself now versus when you started?
I don't think there is a difference between the moment when I started and today. I would say that success to me is related to the trust that people express towards me, whether it's candidates or clients or institutions. This is to me the most precious thing. Of course, I'm going to talk about business. Trust, in my example, is translated also in revenue. And the way I will use this revenue is important to me. I try to be as responsible as possible, as exemplary as possible. So this is why I decided to become a business angel. What do I do? What do I create with the money that I made? So easy answer for me, building more inclusive teams, more diverse ones, inviting AI to be more ethical, less energy consuming. And success, it's also having the freedom of going on holiday wherever you want, of managing your schedule the way you want. I feel this is the true luxury. Yes, sometimes in the middle of the day, you will see me going to my dentist. I'm so happy to do so. This is freedom.
Yeah, for sure. Um, what's the bravest choice you've made in your career or your life?
Honestly, I can think about two things: creating my own company and being out. Being out, it took me a lot of courage because I felt I was unveiling something super intimate about myself. And this changed. Now it's out there. It's a non-information. Nobody cares in my situation. Okay. And I know that it helps many other lesbians to think, hey, I can be a CEO. Hey, I can not be discriminated. So this is the first answer. And creating my own company because, true story, in my head, I was like, I will have my own company by the age of 40. I did it when I was 30. And it was unexpected. It was a few days prior to the first lockdown in 2020 in France. And I can tell you, it was a rocky road, emotionally speaking, because initially it didn't feel like the right time to launch a business. And oddly, it turned out that it was the best time to launch my company.
You got a lot of requests due to like new format of work, remote, etc., right?
Exactly. And one thing that I couldn't have imagined is as soon as you're a freelancer, as soon as you open a company, it opened the doors to people wanting to collaborate with you. And it's not possible when you're an employee. Or it can be, but it's less obvious. So yeah, opening my own company was a game changer. And if I had to go back, I think I would have done it a little bit earlier.
Um, did you like feel that you have like enough support, enough network to be able to pull it off? Like, what was like your consideration when you were studying it?
I'm going to be extremely humble on this. When I created the Alliance, I felt extremely lonely. Because in the past, I used to be a recruiter in a 12 people team. So as soon as I had an idea, I could introduce it to someone else, get their opinion, and feel confident or change what needed to be. But when you're running your own company, you feel isolated. So this is something that I had to correct. So I contacted friends who were having similar positions. I also send SOS messages. Hey, how would you price such a project? Hey, what is your accounting tool? Hey, how have you set up the contracts when you were to work with this kind of companies? Blah, blah, blah. I really built a support network. Because it was completely missing. I was a good recruiter, but I was not a CEO, basically. And when you are a CEO, you need to be an accountant, a marketing person, a PR person, an IT person, the HR. You need to be everything.
So how would you say you make decisions when you don't know how things will turn out?
Easy answer. I ask people that I think know best. How would you? How have you? I will ask them first. I will also ask online, whether it's on Perplexity, Google, or any tool, just to have some references and to be able to think on my own. Yeah. And I try not to reinvent the wheel. It might sound silly, but our natural tendency is to want to create everything from scratch. But the true story is that we're not the first to ask ourselves this question. And so sometimes you already have resources online. You already have people who can, share a referral code for you to have a discount on the tool. So ask people around you. And in my example, I used extensively Slack groups or Discord groups to ask questions.
What's one question that you ask yourself regularly?
What can you do better? What can you do faster? That's it. And what can you improve? Yeah.
I relate to this so much, to be honest.
I thought your laughter was indicating that you're not, you're familiar with it.
How do you charge, especially considering that your work is kind of personal?
I didn't hear the question. How do I charge? Like, can you ask the
How do
question again?
you recharge? Yeah.
The way that I recharge is simple. Reading books, going to the gym, and drawing with my child. It's true. And I try also to feed myself from other stuff, like going to art galleries, going to the movies, going to attend a theater play. I love going to concerts, but my life does not rely exclusively on my job. And if one day I'm like that, I want my friends to slap me and to say, Caroline, stop everything you're doing. Yeah. But I'm not good at sleeping. I'm not good at relaxing, for instance. I know that lots of CEOs meditate. I don't know why, but I can't meditate. So I do other stuff. I go to the gym and I'm happy.
I understand that. I have like a chaotic mind. It's just it needs to either switch to something else or or I need to wait it out until it finishes.
And for instance, like, does going for a walk is useful for you, for instance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like walk with music on, it helps, or walking with a friend helps.
It's not recharging, but when I see myself going over and over about something and being a little bit blocked, this is when I'm going to turn off my computer and go for a walk, like 15, 20 minutes. And then something gets unstuck. But yeah, insisting is something that you need to stop doing when you feel like that.
Yeah, I noticed that movement helps a lot to process things.
Especially when you're neurodivergent, it helps drastically.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about it, but are there like any other personal habits or rituals that you swear by?
Honestly, listening to music and reading books and reading the news, actually, and maybe it's something that is the most important. Recently, I've been meeting lots of new people and I'm concerned by this speech that is, I don't read the news anymore because I feel anxious and so on. And I'm actually the reverse. How do you want to feel enlightened? How do you want to make decisions, whether it's personal or professional, if you don't read about the reality of the world? So if you feel anxious, maybe select better your sources. Maybe try to create a habit of when to read the news. But yeah, I think about that because when you're running a company, you can't think you're outside of the geopolitical conversation, of any political conversation. You're part of it.
Yeah, for sure. I absolutely agree that especially when you are running a company, you're affected by the things that happen. And yeah, I have my like personal beef with the not political, like not being political stance because it's very abstract. It's not realistic. It's like an internalist belief that it doesn't affect you, but your existence reinforces one or other side. Like with the actions that you do externally, you are acting within the politics, whether you do it consciously or not. It doesn't go anywhere if you pretend that it's not a part of your life. um when do you feel most fully yourself?
All the time. When you're an outcast, and I mean it, socially I am, my sexual orientation makes me being underrepresented. This is the gift that I offered myself. Running my own company allows me to be aligned with my personal values and what I do on a daily basis. I know that when I will look back at my life in a few years, I will be happy about my achievements. And more recently, I thought that why are you doing this? It's because I think I want the path to be easier for people like me in the next years. And also because I want my child to be proud of the parent that I am. I don't want to look at my child and say, hey, mommy didn't do anything. In my case, I will have lots of stories to tell. So yeah.
I think it also helps that she sees that you are happy and fulfilled, and I think it's like the best example that like a parent and a woman can bring into the daughter's life.
You know, I laugh recently, but my child thinks that I'm doing the same job as the mother of Peppa Pig, because Peppa Pig's mother is working on the computer. So this is my job. And in a few weeks, I'm going to organize an event and I want my child to attend it because I want her to see that mommy is not alone and that mommy actually works with people.
uh, yeah, so for someone who is listening and feeling stuck, uh, what's the one thing that they can do today, in your opinion?
If you feel stuck, try to find a group who are exposed to the same issues as you. Join, listen, ask questions. You can also rely upon your friends, family, if you're close to them, but never remain alone when you feel stuck. One person cannot fix everything. And if there's one thing that is universal, this is this. So go out there, connect yourself with people, and you'll see the solution will come up naturally. And if not, maybe it means that you're supposed to be stuck on this and it's not the right idea. Just saying.
Yeah, I support that 100%, to be honest. Um, what's one puzzle piece you've collected in your own journey, like a truth or lesson that clicked everything into place?
Running my own company and opening the Alliance, I've never felt more at my place than today. I'm lucky because I have respectful, engaged, forward-thinking clients. Really. And those people are trusting me over the years. So I'm not even worried about, will I still have some business next year and so on. People are loyal. They are happy. And I think this is very, how do you say? It's self-feeding, because I also engage myself into the relationship with them, so they feel respected. And another thing that I can stress is, by running my own company, I choose my candidates, I choose my clients, and I have qualitative conversations with everyone. So when I'm stressed, it's, I don't want to miss the next strategic move. I want to make sure that if we open a new market, it's the right one. If I create a new offer, is it going to be well understood? I'm not worried. I feel secured, professionally speaking. And this is also a speech that I would like to hear more often when we listen to CEOs, because when you listen to them, you feel like they're spending their days fixing issues. Yes, it's part of the game, but it's also a luxury to be, the orchestra master, and to still have the end of the story in your hand.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story for sure. What's the next chapter you're stepping into? Is there something lined up for you?
Yes, I'm going to celebrate the 5th year anniversary of the Alliance. So this is going to be quite massive. I've never done something that big. Next year, I would like to create 2 new offers. So, I'm already aware that if one of them or the 2 are not working, it's fine. I want to test something new. And I want to devote more time to my business angel responsibilities, because this year my personal life prevented me from spending more time on it. So 2026 will be Caroline reinventing the Alliance with her team and being a kick-ass business angel.
Oh, that sounds great, and I wish you like the best of luck and all the best of positive vibes to succeed and to really like drive it through. Like see that you are excited about it, and it's contagious. So, wrapping up, where can people connect with you or your work?
People can easily connect on Instagram, LinkedIn. So my name is Caroline Chavier. You can connect with The Alliance. On Instagram, it's funny because it's much more of the backstage of the company and how it's being run. And yes, we have lots of videos on YouTube about what we do and anecdotes of projects that we led in the past.
And the last question, who is one woman you'd love to hear on this show and why?
Ah! I can think about many names, but I can think about another Caroline Ramad, because she had to switch and to completely reinvent herself this year. And she had to close her business. And I think she could be extremely um, inspiring for many women, how you can turn a failure into a success. And someone else, I can think about my lawyer, because she's an
Oh,
interesting and tough cookie. I work with 2 women who are lawyers and feminists. So their practice is called Volcane. And my lawyer is Lydia Bianchi. She's funny, she's witty, she's extremely good at her job. And I think she could be very inspiring for other ladies.
well, that's I would want to connect with them for sure. They sound very inspiring, and I think it would be a great fit to to see different personalities and especially lawyers. I don't want to be stuck in tech within this show. I'd like to talk to different women and to see and show their paths. So yeah, thanks for the recommendations.
You're
And
welcome. Thank you for having me.
And thank you so much for sharing your story so honestly. I think it will help a lot of women who feel isolated at some point of their lives, and they are part of the minorities, and they feel that they are blocked in a certain way to express themselves or to go further. I think that this conversation is a terrific example of what they can become. So thank you very much for this.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please follow This Is Hers on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or our social accounts. And also, please leave a comment. It helps us reach more people who need to hear these stories.